Today I'm going to talk about the lifestyle of anime and manga creators and how their lifestyles can either make or break your favorite anime or manga. So, today I'm going to talk about what I believe is the biggest and most important thing that can either make or break your favorite anime or manga, the artist's lifestyle. But don't worry, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just going to keep it brief and go over three things. 1. How much they get paid. 2. Their insane work schedules. And 3. The rules and regulations of the company in which they work for. Now I'm going to do a segment I like to call Who Gets Paid More on Average? I'll talk about how a manga artist gets paid on average and then compare it to how an animator gets paid on average. Okay, first I'm going to talk about how a manga artist gets paid, and don't worry, I'll keep it in US dollars. First, they get paid $41 for every manuscript page. Those who don't know anime or manga are probably wondering, what's a manuscript? Well, it's 20 pages of blood, sweat, and tears. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's 20 pages worth of drawings for their manga, so 41 times 20 is $820 for one chapter. Ka-ching! And that's just for turning in their drawings, dog. Okay, next, for those of you who like more accurate calculations, in a year, a weekly manga artist will make around $39,360 just for their manuscripts alone. Ka-ching! Okay, next we're going to be working with bigger numbers, so I'll try to keep it simple. For every tankobon, or volume, they get 10% of the profits. For those that don't know, a volume can be anywhere between 5 to 7 of those manuscripts we talked about before, or also chapters. So on average, a first volume will have about 30,000 in circulation, and those are sold at $3 a piece. So to keep it simple, if they sold 300 volumes, that's $600, but the manga artist only gets 60 of that profit. Okay, finally, the anime sales. For every anime episode, the manga artist makes $1,124. Multiply that by 12 because most animes are 12 episodes, and we have a grand total of $13,488. Okay, I like to believe there are two types of manga artists, the hustlers and the strugglers. Hustlers are the type to work hard and immediately move on to their next project and don't stop for nothing. A struggler is someone who has had a bunch of hurdles in their life just to get to their goal and almost did not make it. To give you some examples, we're going to play a game called Hustler or Struggler. The rules are simple. I will pick 8 manga artists at random and decide with a little backstory if they'll go under the Hustlers category or if they're Strugglers. First up is a dude by the name Nakaba Suzuki. This dude failed more than 7 times before creating the successful 7 Deadly Sins, pun intended. So we'll just put him under the Hustler. Next, we have a guy with the most American first name I've ever heard from a Japanese person, George Morikawa. It says here that not only does he have one of the longest running mangas of all time, Hajime no Ippo, but he also has his own boxing gym and he teaches boxing as a retired trainer. Yo, this dude's a hustler. Next up is a guy by the name of Daisuke Ashihara, the creator of World Trigger. In 2016, he had to stop working on his manga due to a wrist fracture and other health concerns that were not made public to this day. It looks like we have our first struggler. Next up is Masashi Kishimoto. Most of y'all might know him for the creator of Naruto, one of the best-selling mangas. But in the middle of making Naruto, one day he fell down some stairs, and to make it even worse, his manga after Naruto, not Boruto, but a manga called Samurai 8, failed miserably in Japan but was doing really well in other countries. But apparently it was just too ahead of its time. Looks like he's a struggler too. Next up, we have Hiro Mashima, the creator of miniseries such as Rave Master, Fairy Tail, Fairy Tail Zero, Fairy Tail Thousand Years Quest, and Eden Zero. This dude is currently working on 5 different projects, 2 mangas, a YouTube channel for drawing tutorials, working on an anime, and he's also creating video games. This dude is definitely a hustler. Next up, we have Yoshihiro Togashi, creator of 2 of the most famous mangas of all time, Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter. This dude, oh my god. In the middle of drawing Yu Yu Hakusho, he went completely insane and didn't want people to help him draw. He wanted to do it all himself. So while in the middle of making Hunter x Hunter, he hurt his back. Now this dude has to literally crawl to the bathroom every day. He's definitely a struggler in my opinion. Next we have the god himself, Ichiro Oda, the most successful manga artist of all time. Creator of One Piece, this dude is the biggest hustler ever. Drawing manga, helping with movies, and even being on a Netflix live-action set in different countries. Finally, we have Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk. In the middle of making Berserk, he had so many health problems due to being slouched in a chair all the time and malnutrition that he just passed away in the middle of the night one night. Now he's the biggest struggler of them all. Sorry guys, my video ended up way too long with all the stuff I wanted to say and talk about. So I'm going to keep it at this and just give a brief overview of what I was going to talk about while telling you this amazing anime story. So sit back and relax. Once upon a time, there was this foolish traveler who'd gone on a journey. Why was he foolish? Well, because he was fooled by everyone he met. "Please, I need some money for medicine," said an old man, and he gave some money to him. Everywhere he went, people made up all kinds of sad stories to tell him, and the traveler fell for every one of them. "I have a sick younger sister," said another old man. "I don't have money to buy seeds," said a guy, and he gave them each something of his. Pretty soon, his money, his clothes, even his shoes had been cheated away from him, but the foolish traveler was always glad to help, and he always told people the same thing. He said, "I wish you happiness." But by this point, though, the traveler was completely naked, and with nothing left to cover himself, he decided to leave the main road and travel through the dense forest, where no one could see him. But soon he was discovered by the goblins that lived in the woods. The goblins wanted to eat the traveler's body, so they begged and they pleaded and they used all kinds of words to try to trick him. Of course, the traveler was fooled. First he let the goblins eat one of his legs, then an arm, then more and more. Before it was over, all the traveler had left was his head. He'd even given away his eyes to the last of the goblins. And as the last goblin was eating the traveler's eyes, he turned and said, "Thank you, traveler. In return, I leave you this present." What the goblin left was a slip of paper with the word "fool" written on it. The traveler couldn't see it. He didn't even know what it was. Even so, tears began to flow down his face. "Thank you," he said. "This is the first present anyone's ever given me. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you." Even without his eyes, he cried and he cried, tears of joy. Then the traveler died, the smile still on his face.